guys.
Hello,
Thanks
everyone.
for helping me. Yay! Okay. Now, I have a story today that takes place a little bit after Jesus had died and then rose again from the dead. And he had all of these disciples who were real excited that that had happened, but a little confused. And so they went fishing. And I think they did that because it was a familiar thing to do and it would give them time to think. So one of those disciples, who you remember, his name was Peter, he was there too. So I think you can be Peter today. And why don't you guys get situated in the boat? Make sure you
get in this
get
boat.
in the boat. Yes,
Get in this boat.
and we'll get on with the story. Get your fishing poles ready. Get them.
Tony, stop! Will you sit down?
Said sit down. Sit down. You're rocking the boat.
People say sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Oh boy. Whew. That was exciting.
Okay, I think we're here.
Okay. You ready?
So we're just fishing.
Okay, so you're just fishing. So Peter and some of his friends were fishing all night long. And after a long night of fishing, do you know what happened? They caught a whole lot of...
Oh, no, not that.
They caught a whole lot of nothing. Peter had organized this fishing trip, but I think maybe he didn't care if they caught anything or not. He needed to think. So you should be fishing, you should be thinking. Now, can you tell that this guy, Peter, is feeling kind of awful? You know, he had done something terrible to his friend. Yeah. It was something awful that he didn't think his friend would ever be able to forgive him for. Yeah, even worse. And how would you feel if that friend was Jesus? The terrible thing you did was deny that you ever knew him. Not only once, not twice, but 3 times. Wow. So, as they were rowing, they could... So just as the sun was starting to come up, they were rowing the boat toward shore because they hadn't caught any fish. And as they were rowing, they could barely...
Tony, will you sit down?
Said sit down. Sit down. You're rocking the boat.
People say sit down, you're rocking the boat.
Oh.
Okay, whew, that was a close one. Okay, so they were rowing.
They were good with rowing.
Okay, as they were rowing, they could barely make someone out on the shore who shouted at them to let their nets down one more time. And at that point, Peter likely remembered something. The first time he had ever met Jesus, the same thing had happened. Jesus had told him to let his nets down on the other side of the boat after a bad night of fishing. Do you think this made Peter feel a little better? Yeah. Then the other people in the boat and Peter did exactly what the guy on the shore said that they should do. They threw their nets on the other side and they started to pull them back in. But the nets were full and heavy.
Tony, will you sit down?
Said sit down. Sit down. You're rocking the boat.
People say sit down, you're rocking the boat.
No, it's going to be this much work.
The nets were full and heavy and had so many fish in them, they thought the boat was going to sink. So how do you think Peter felt then? Then something else happened. One of the disciples said that might be Jesus out there on the shore. And that's when Peter really got excited. He stood up. And then what? And then he decided to jump in and swim to the shore. into shore. Oh, wow. You guys got the picture, didn't ya? Give my volunteers a round of applause. They deserve it. I hope you didn't pull anything. Wow, they did a great job, didn't they? You'll never forget this story, right? So, even though...
Tony, I told you I didn't want to be in there.